So what happens when you put a peep show dancer and a religious, overzealous protester in the same building during the outbreak of the apocalypse? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out. This is Revealer, which is a Shudder original. It came out this year, looks like it's a low-budget sort of film, and I decided to sit down and watch it. Why? Because I adore Shudder, and this is supposed to be based in the late 80s. The movie starts off by killing a televangelist, played by Buzz Lear, in an ominously lit room. Just a few minutes in, and this movie's already making some points. We're then introduced to Angie Pitarelli and Sally Mewborn, played by Kato Ayas and Shayna Shruten. Sally is a religious zealot who leads protests against adult video stores, among other things, I'm sure. It's the 80s, after all. And Angie is a peep show dancer for such a store, which happens to be run by Ray, played by Bishop Stevens. At some point during the day, one hell of a storm comes in which causes people to run for cover from more than just rain.
Get the fuck out, all of ya!
Slightly tamer than your average mob on Black Friday. Unfortunately, we do have to get an age-old horror cliche out of the way, with Ray dying right in front of Angie's eyes. There's more bad news in that Angie is stuck in her booth. Well, with how things are going, is there any way that Angie's day could get any worse?
Sally. Things in the sky. Men and women turning on each other, tearing each other's skin.
Apparently there is. Obviously, Sally doesn't waste any time in pointing fingers as to whose fault this whole world-ending apocalypse is. Angie doesn't have time for that shit because she needs to get out of this building. And since this building used to be a speakeasy, there are tunnels underneath that they could utilize. The only issue is that Sally needs to somehow get her righteous ass over to Angie's booth. That way they can pry the floor up and make their escape. Sally retrieves the crowbar that Ray was previously using and, ironically, uses it on Ray when he comes back to life as a possessed thing. I mean, it takes Sally a while, but she does actually use it repeatedly. So with the procured crowbar, she's able to make a hole in the wall between herself and Angie. However, on her way through said hole, she's attacked by what I can only describe as the intestinal worm of a demon. Angie takes care of this one, and it's back to creating a hole in the floor. At least until Sally pushes her luck a little too far.
Feast on his
I could make a fisting joke, but I think that would be just one step too far. There isn't much time to discuss that, as yet another demon shows up, played by Phil Bogdan. This one seems to be a little less slithery. Well, if they didn't have motivation to get out of there before, they certainly do now.
He's Asmodeus.
Down into the tunnels they go, and just in time, too. As they make their way around, there's a bit of a heart-to-heart between them. Angie's man that she's been referring to is her nephew, whom she sort of adopted and is taking care of. That's why she's a stripper and is determined to leave this place. After running from another threat, they find some more light, and a map of the tunnels. Sally wants to take the route that would lead to the church, but Angie wants to go the direction that leads to the river.
In a van down by the river!
Neither one seems to be able to convince the other that their way is right, so they split up and go their separate ways. This is all well and good until Angie discovers that Sally is in danger. Pause. What is this? Am I willing to forgive it? No. Angie comes to Sally's rescue, and they manage to fend off quite a few of the worms before ducking into a sort of closet. Ironically, this is where Sally decides to drop some information on Angie in that she thinks that the reason that Asmodeus and the other demons are after her specifically is because she's a lesbian. Capital L. If you already clocked that, raise your hand. Now you may be asking yourself, what exactly was the moment in which this realization came to Sally? It was the 80s, so Madonna? Phoebe Cates? No, apparently it was Mary Magdalene. And they're always telling us to go to church. So it's internalized homophobia that is attracting Asmodeus to Sally. Just to clarify. My theory is if Sally just openly admits that she likes tacos, then Asmodeus will leave her alone. This whole problem will be solved. Or not. I guess this is the photo development room of hell, where family reunion snapshots go missing and people get judged. Of course, Angie doesn't play that game and refuses to cast judgment on Sally. This allows her to break free from Asmodeus' grip and distract him from Sally. Together, they're able to defeat him.
What the hell?
How many minutes left? 10? Oh my god. Oh no, there she go. And she's back through the power of love. Fuck! A bit more walking down tunnels, and Angie and Sally make it to doors. Doors to heaven? Or doors to the next level of this dungeon crawler? Well, that's up to you to decipher. But it's not looking great. And with that, the credits roll. This was written by Luke Boyce, Tim Seeley, and Michael Morecki. Morrissey. It's pretty simple, but that doesn't automatically make it bad. What it does mean is that it could have been better. While I was watching this, I was kind of concerned that I wouldn't have enough material to actually make a review video. It felt stretched just to fill out the runtime. I was kind of disappointed because this was labeled as a horror comedy, but the comedy didn't always land. This is a very small cast. I like the snarky and tough attitude that Kato Ace, I'm so sorry, gave Angie. Of the two leading characters, she's the one that I obviously gravitated towards just a little bit. She's also the least annoying. Speaking of, Shayna Shruten clearly gave Sally the correct amount of irritation for her type of character. The whole Sally being a lesbian and that being a huge influence on her righteous attitude didn't feel derogatory, but it did feel a little shallow. But essentially both characters took turns being annoying. I have a feeling that wasn't exactly on purpose. All in all, the actors did good with what they were given. It does look like it could be from the 80s. I don't have much negative to say about the atmosphere or the settings, really. Everything is just as I thought, soaked in neon. And there was a portion of this film that legitimately felt like a music video. The practical effects and makeup look pretty decent. It's when you get into the CGI where it goes very cheesy. I don't know if this was done on purpose in order to complement the whole cheesy CGI element of some 80s movies, or if it was just related to a smaller budget. Either way, it was rather distracting for me. I had to pause multiple times to laugh. The score, which was done by Alex Cuervo, is my favorite part of this movie. Just the first few notes of Angie's dance scene, and I knew exactly what song was being played. It fit and I liked it. Just because of this one scene, I thought I was going to really enjoy the rest of the movie. The soundtrack overall really does add to the whole 80s vibe. So with all that being said, I'm giving Revealer 4.5 out of 10 bloody thumbs up. What I liked most about Revealer was the segment of Angie's dancing. It's edited exactly like a music video and it works, but everything else just seems really slow. There are too few interesting or exciting moments. Both Sally and Angie felt like they could have had more depth, and Angie was the closest one to getting more depth. And that's because of her background with David. I know that one of the complaints that some people have about Fear Street 1978 is how boring and long the scenes in the caverns are. Well, I don't think said people will like this movie too much, because we spend nearly half of the movie in the tunnels. It's a movie that was made with the right intentions, but it missed the mark on a majority of it. At the same time, I'm sure there are people out there who adore this style of horror, so it's not like it's a total failure or waste of time. As a matter of fact, I would recommend Revealer to 80s horror fans, low-budget horror film enthusiasts, and anyone who would like something that sounds and looks pretty cool to have on in the background. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give this video a like and let me know your thoughts on this movie down below. See you later.